Today I'm going to remove the left-hand side transmission cover to give it a clean up, but it needs to be done if you were going to change the starter clutch, for example. So this is my Koorlong Blue95 quad runner with its bent conrod, and I'm sitting here thinking, what do I do next with this? And for shits and giggles, I thought I would pull this left-hand side transmission case cover off it. See the dirt and shit that's all over it there? I'm just wondering how that cover will go in the sandblaster. My sandblaster really hasn't had a chance to blast a bit of aluminium casing. I'm just keen to do that. I've got this all apart to this level with the exhaust out of the way. I think I can pull that side cover off. I may have to release this suspension. I'm not sure whether there's enough room between here and here for that to come off and be taken away. I'm guessing not, but it's not that difficult to release this rear swing arm if that's in the way. But by just looking at it there, that stator's still connected up there. That needs to be disconnected and all the bolts taken out, and then I should be able to rattle that case off. Hopefully. Sometimes the dowels get stuck and so you end up fighting it, in which case it becomes quite a problem. I've only done it in the past while the engine's been completely removed from the frame. We'll see how we go doing it while it's in the frame, and I've got all of that bloody dirt laying on it that I've got to deal with. I've released this swing arm because it'll just give me a better go at this side cover. It's only the bolt at the front's been removed and the bolt at the rear mount's been removed, and normally it would just pull away. This being the left hand side, there's no brake components as such. I've left that shocker attached. Something I haven't come across in the past is this half shaft axle here is not pulling out of the inner uni joint. It's probably seized or corroded in there a bit. That corner would be pulled away normally at this stage. It's not coming off, so I'm going to release the boot tie. The boot itself is in surprisingly good condition given that we've got a seize problem here. I'm going to take that clip off the top there and run the boot back and see whether I can get some penetrating oil into where this half shaft axle runs into that top or inner uni joint so that I can remove this. I haven't tried to hit it yet. I'd prefer to get a little bit of a soak of some penetrating oil in there before I do that. The boot that was over this was brittle as and tore as soon as I tried to pull it away from this clamp, so I've just moved it down out of the way there. This is the spline that's stuck inside the top inner CV joint there. It's moved a little bit on it since I soaked it with a bit of oil, and I've been hitting on these lugs on the outer gently to put a bit of force through to open that up. I think a few more hits and it'll come away. It was moving. I think I've seen movement from maybe here to there so far with a few light taps, so I may give it another bit more spray of oil and a few more taps and that will come away, releasing this whole corner. She's certainly going to need a new boot. It's interesting that boot was intact and that the joint itself still has remnants of the white grease that's in those joints, so they're not in too bad a nick given that we've got this corrosion issue happening a bit lower down. Yes, a couple more hits on those tabs here released this spline, and that whole corner then came away. I'm happy to see that that half shaft has got no detectable play in the outer U-joint. So that corner's in pretty good nick from all accounts. Okay, a bit more space with that corner out of the way. This inner U-joint also hasn't got any detectable play in it, and you can see the white grease from the original. It's except for this spline being a little bit stuck, and it was only minor stuck really because a little bit of oil released it. I've put this frame cross member back in and got this bolt across so that it just lifts the motor up a fraction off the frame down the front there. I'm now close to ready to taking the bolts out of this right hand cover. There is just loose dirt laying on the top there, which I should scratch off because it's all going to go on the floor otherwise anyway. I'll just grab a screwdriver and kick a bit of that dirt off into a container before it hits the floor. I've just removed a significant amount of dirt out of that valley area there and up around there. I don't know whether we can compare it with the previous before shots. Quantity of dirt is significant when you see it there in the dustpan. Anyway, we'll move on, and now I feel happy about removing some screws. Well, that's the cover off. It didn't fight me too much. It wasn't rusted on the rear dowel there, and up here are the two dowels, and they often get stuck. It actually came away from the front fairly quickly, and the rear needed a bit of a lever down here on the tab to get the rear moving. I needed to take the two bolts out of the rear of the engine mount so that I could swing the engine sort of over towards me. There's a bolt here that fouls with the front engine mount. By taking those rear out, you can actually pull the engine over on the skew a little bit to get this bolt out here. Yeah, it came out. That's the inside of the left-hand cover. It looks all fairly normal. That the gasket I'm starting to pull off. You don't want to lose these shims that come on these bearings. Sometimes these bearings come out of the case and stay on the shafts here. I may actually take them, I will take them out of the case because I'm doing the cleanup of the case, but they can sort of just slide back on there. There's no shim on this one, but there's shims on both of those. I probably will get round to pulling the flywheel out just because then I can take the chain out. The chain's just hanging out the front of the engine in the breeze at the moment. I mean, the crank's fucked, so anything I'm doing is a bit of a shits and giggles exercise. There's some serious black shit in the bottom here, as you'd expect, due to all the metal that's churned through this. I don't know how long it took for the thing to blow up, but looks like it's pretty terrible. I haven't got round to cleaning anything yet, but this video is starting to get too long, so I'll stop here and do the sand blasting or grit blasting of the casing in the next episode. Get out to your shed and have some fun.